as we face, Eastside Pathways obviously is only barely a year old. And we launched this effort knowing we had the strong support of our sort of anchor partners, the school district and the city. So to learn less than a year into the effort that we were going to face a transition to the superintendent level, I was a little apprehensive because I felt like, well, all of this work that we all committed to is predicated on an absolutely close and collaborative relationship with the school district. And so, but you know, we charged ahead. We know that in this community there is a strong will to collaborate to help kids succeed, and any new arrival would hopefully, undoubtedly, assuredly share that point of view. Well, Dr. Mills has arrived, and based on just a brief conversation with him, but also many secondhand reports, which I don't know if you know, I was listening. I feel like we, as Eastside Pathways, as the community, have lucked out in finding not only a strong leader, but a strong advocate for this kind of shared support for kids. So with that, I would like to introduce Dr. Mills.
Well, thank you all. I couldn't be more blessed than to have a wonderful family and a wonderful new home, which is the Bellevue School District. And so I feel very fortunate to be here. Here's what I've learned in, I think today is my 20th actual work day such in the district. But here's what I've learned. I've met with about 60 individuals and groups in the community in these first 20 days. And there were some very consistent themes that came through. And I think these are very valuable themes. First, there was a theme that said, we believe in this school district. This school district has a tradition and a history of doing great things for kids. And we're very proud of the district. And I heard that very consistent. Then I heard a strong theme that says, but we're not finished. We're not complacent. We need to get better. And with that, we need to get better, there was this other theme that said, and we will get better. And I believe that there is probably few districts anywhere that are positioned as well as the Bellevue School District to learn on all of the work that has gone on up to this point, to really build on that, to learn about learn from that work, and then to say, okay, now, what are we going to look like a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now? And what I do know in my work as an educator is it cannot be done by a school district alone. It can only be done. It can only be done with a concerted effort by the community. And I am just thrilled to see the number of partners that are here for something that is as important as Eastside Pathways. And the fact that this is a new, young organization is amazing to recognize what has occurred just in 1 year. And it proves the point that when you bring partners together that have that common commitment for children, what great things can happen. And so while Eastside Pathways really is still in the infancy, the future is incredible. And I know from our board of directors, from our administrative team, and certainly from me as superintendent, we are fully committed to working in this effort. Now here's the thing that I think is so incredible. And not only do we have great community partners and great individuals that want to help in this work, but I am just thrilled at the relationship between the city of Bellevue and the school district. And such a strong commitment. And even a message, I met with Steve Sarkozy a few weeks ago, and he said, and you know, we're just scratching the surface. There is so much more that we can do between the city and the school district. That is very powerful for the citizens, but more importantly, it's very powerful for our kids. So we are on the right track. Now here's another thing that I'm aware of. We know that the conditions that face families with young children sometimes are very traumatic, very difficult. And while there's a perception outside of the Bellevue arena that says Bellevue has it all, the reality of it is we have children that have significant needs. We have families that have significant needs. And I think, again, we're positioned in a great place to step up with community partners to make that difference. And early childhood is so important. And so the literacy project, as Bill was describing it to me, just made all kinds of sense to me, because that's where we need to get children, we need all of our children by 3rd grade to be proficient in reading. Because as they move through their life, as they get older, as they follow the school curriculum, it becomes more reading intensive. And the more reading intensive it becomes, the more challenging it can be. And there's a lot of work that's been done around the country, and I know in one of my previous districts we did our own local study that shows that children by 4th grade start becoming disenfranchised in school. They start to check out. And oftentimes, part of that is their inability to read. And it starts manifesting itself in attendance issues first, and then it moves on into behavior issues, and then we lose them at the time we get to high school. So the more we can do on early interventions, the better off our children will be. And once again, it takes that entire community. I just want to tell a quick story. I have a son who just graduated from college. He's our middle child. Gail and I have 3 children. We have a 27-year-old, one that will be 24 in 2 weeks, and a 21-year-old. The 24-year-old went with a group of college kids on it was kind of the Campus Crusade was the organization. And he went to Pretoria, and they spent 10 days working in an orphanage of children, many of them infected with AIDS. And then they did some work on a college campus. But here's the story that I want to mention, because it just, every time I tell it, it tugs in my heart. He tells the story about, these kids loving to play with these college kids. And these are kids tremendously disadvantaged, orphans, but with a real spirit of curiosity and excitement. And one of the things that they were really lacking, they seldom saw chocolate or had chocolate. So a couple of the girls that were on the team went and purchased chocolate, and they brought it back, and they distributed it amongst the kids, and they were absolutely thrilled. I mean, they were just ecstatic about it. And Ben tells me the story about this one little guy who was up on the shoulders of one of Ben's friends, and he had this candy bar, and you could just picture the chocolate kind of dripping down on the hand. And so Ben went up and just in a gesture of just wanting to acknowledge it, said, "Oh, I bet that candy's really good, don't you think?" And this little guy, who had nothing, took the candy, broke it in half, and handed a piece to me. Now that's a statement about what we need to be doing in communities, because here is someone who didn't have any formal training for that, but that's what he was willing to do. And that's what we do in a community, to step up and do anything we can to help. And once again, I just couldn't be more pleased to see what's here in Bellevue. And our involvement with Eastside Pathways, with all of the other partners, and certainly the City of Bellevue, I think it's going to be an amazing model that we can take and be able to share with other communities. Because I do think that's one of our responsibilities as a school district also. Bellevue needs to continue, and it's been made very clear to me, as I paraphrase the editorial that was in the Seattle Times when it was announced that I had accepted the position. It basically said this: Bellevue is a great school district, and so the new guy needs to not come in and mess it up. Well, we need to keep those high standards that we have in this district. We need to keep that mission on a pre-collegiate district for all kids. I want to emphasize for all kids. We want to do that. We don't want to see that go backwards. And we can't be satisfied with saying, well, we're going to close the achievement gap, because I believe strongly that that's not good enough. It's going to have to be eliminating the achievement gap. When you think of our partners that we have in this community, you think of the commitment that is here by people like Bill and like all of you here. This is a place where we can do that. And as we study it and as we learn how to do that, we can take that out and share that with other communities. And then we're taking what we know and making it better for all children. And that's a personal mission that I have. I believe so strongly. I know that my opportunities in life, the opportunities for my children, would not have occurred if it hadn't been for the school system, if it hadn't been for great teachers and principals, for a counselor who encouraged me to go to college. So I know in my life what a difference that was. That's been a few years ago. I know how great it is going to be in this community for us to continue on that journey. So education is a journey, and it starts with this preschool approach, birth, and then, but the commitment has to be to get them all the way into college and beyond. That's how we have a strong community, and that's how we'll have a continued strong nation. So, Bill, I can promise you, you have my support. Eastside Pathways will have our school district support, and we'll be together shoulder to shoulder to make this happen for children, because really that's what matters. There is nothing more important in any community than educating children. Because without well-educated populace, a country cannot do what we need to be doing for all of our citizens. And our children need a future, and frankly, it's through this work together that we provide that hope. So I want to just thank you for this opportunity to be here tonight. I look forward to visiting with you as you were here, and it looks like there were lots of eats, and I noticed people weren't drinking wine very much, and they weren't eating, so hopefully we'll be able to do that. But thank you all. I look forward to meeting you, and Bill, thanks for inviting me.